Hey everyone, in this video we wanted to just briefly kind of give some advice for when you might be giving someone else advice. Specifically in circumstances where someone's going to be like confiding in you about some problems that they're having. And the reason that we want to touch on this is because the most common response that people get when they, go to someone to express the problems that they're having is that the person will either diminish their experience and
oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
right?
Play it down. Exactly, like it's not
this
that bad, don't worry
person
about
has
it.
So much worse.
Yeah, like don't worry about it. So that's the first one, and I mean, I guess we'll just start with that. Don't do that. Like, it doesn't help anything. The problem's obviously bad to them.
And everything is about perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't control someone else's perspective on life because you haven't had the same set of experiences, interactions. You don't have the same brain as them, the same neurochemistry, like nothing.
Some people are more resilient to stressors and insults,
Yep.
What's that? We might not remember, but maybe you do. What's that thing called where someone has that like resilience to keep moving forward, when they get hit with.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We can't remember what it is. Okay. Anyway, the point is.
Yeah, there's two subtypes though that are one's very resilient and one is just more prone to stress.
Yeah.
So, and you can see this, like what my brain is bouncing to is like with hypothalamic amenorrhea, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a certain genetic makeup, and some people can handle lots of exercise and never like lose their cycle, never lose their fertility, and other people they lift twice a week and they can't get pregnant.
Or another one would, I guess, another analogy would be, imagine the two types of people in our modern obesogenic environment.
Yeah.
A good portion of the people balloon up and become overweight or obese. Other people are like thin as a stick despite eating, the same crap every day. And it's like, why? And it's because we're just, people have different neurochemical wirings that determine how they interact
Not just
with stress.
Neurochemicals, like it's the beliefs that feed into those neurochemicals. Like there's so many variables that you cannot control someone's perspective on a situation. So it's useless and it's diminishing and it's hurtful.
It invalidates them. It makes them feel like they aren't being heard because you're saying this isn't a big deal and they're saying, but it is.
But it is to me.
Why can't just listen? So yeah, that's the first one. Just don't do that. Don't invalidate their experience. Just be there. Just listen. Give them space to express themselves and acknowledge that what they're going through, whatever they're talking about, is difficult for them. Right?
Exactly.
And you don't need to be sympathetic either. You need to actively listen and acknowledge their perspective. That doesn't mean giving sympathy. That doesn't mean being nice. That doesn't mean being mean either, but it just means be present for them. Okay? Second one that's most common is usually people do like to get advice. That's why they're talking to you in the first place. It benefits them because it not only helps them get it off their chest and also have a soundboard to hear themselves talk because it helps them work through their thoughts. But then you can provide targeted feedback to help them continue working through their thoughts, right? When you go to give them that feedback, most people in that position tell someone what they themselves want to hear as if they're talking to a past version of themselves.
Exactly.
And they aren't you. They don't want to hear what you want to hear. They want to hear the truth, the real helpful advice, right?
And it's really hard to do that as like if you're not a trained psychologist, right? Because you interject your own, and even that they like interject their own like life experiences. And that's why I have an issue like talking to therapists because I can see it. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me what you think that I want to hear.
I think
that doesn't work.
The easiest way to avoid this would be to stick with, acknowledging their perspective and then asking them questions and then trying to follow up with objective, a more objective evaluation. Because here's the thing, they're emotional, so they're not going to be completely rational about what's occurring, and that's expected. So,
and it Also, I think I need to say, if you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Like, just listen. I think that you can do a lot of damage by saying the wrong things, because we tend to hold on to certain comments for like all of eternity, right? Like, I remember some things that were said to me like years ago that were very hurtful, and they weren't meant that way, but they came across in my brain that way, and so my brain still holds on to them. So if you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Just say, I hear you.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even tell them, like, I don't know the right thing to say, but I'm here and I'm listening if you want to, you know, if they want to keep, like, talking, right? Like, you don't need to
as
fix
humans,
them.
we have, like, basic needs to be seen and heard, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really all you need to do when people are venting to you.
Yeah, and I think men are the worst at like trying to fix a problem, but there might not be a problem, and I do this all the time.
Well, it's because you guys are biologically wired up that way to fix things and to make everything okay, and to come in and save the woman, especially if it's a woman, like complaining. Like you guys are just designed to save.
But it's basically it took a long time, and it's still something I'm working on to learn that there isn't always a problem that needs to be fixed. Certainly not by me. I mean, a lot of times, you know, Brianna will be talking to me, and she already knows what she needs to do to fix the problem. She just needs to like vent and talk and let off steam, right? And so then I'm in there like, oh, I'll fix it. And it's like, oh, I don't need to do that. You know, I'm reminding myself, like, just sit there, just be present, listen, because chances are she already knows exactly what needs to happen to fix it, and she's just looking for an outlet to help, you know, make her feel better. Because we all need to have an outlet to
we
let
have to
our
have
thoughts,
human connection
and emotions out. And so, I mean, I guess the best way to summarize this is like, if somebody's coming to you and they're talking to you, and you think like, oh, they need advice, I want you to change that and instead think like, oh, they want someone to be fully present for them without trying to shift their perspective or judge their experience.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to do, right? Be fully present. Don't try to change their perspective. Don't invalidate their perspective, and don't judge what they're going through. Just be present. It's that simple. And that'll get you really far in terms of, you know, how much people are actually going to trust you and want to talk with you.
Confide in you.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Awesome. So if you like this content, then great. That's what we're trying to do. And if you know someone who you think the information in this video would help out, then share it with them. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.